top of Sri Lanka no matter what.
Yeah, definitely. For that head-to-head, very important. But that top 2 spot, also very important. Now we're going into the map randomization.
Not again.
Broken walls.
Not again.
Broken walls. It will be broken walls. And yeah, broken walls was the theme. We did get that map 5 times in a row yesterday, but now for today we had a good plethora of maps so far. Yet to see dangerous grass, but I'm looking forward to see the drafts here, right? Because this is not drafts that we can try and make sense of, especially when it comes down to Team Sri Lanka. I was trying to make sense of the draft yesterday. Didn't make sense, but still worked out for them against Team Pakistan.
Yep. So ultimately, I do kind of want to see what these two teams have got in store for us. Team Sri Lanka as well as Team Hong Kong China. Understandably, we did talk about Team Sri Lanka before. We also don't have any information on any of these players. Now, in terms of the staff though, at least from what I see, I don't see that there's any coaching staff for the side of Sri Lanka. While from Team Hong Kong China, they do have a coaching staff. So I think that is going to make a bit of difference. But as you can see, right behind of Team Sri Lanka, they do have someone behind after all.
Yeah, I mean, possibly someone to... I'm not too sure whether that's a coach or maybe that's one of the players. But now for this side, I mean, there he is. There he is.
Evangelon.
Yeah.
Evangelon?
Evangelon.
Evangelon?
Yeah, I mean, it's Evangelon with an I.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there we go.
There we go. We got it settled. But okay, you know what else is not settled yet though? The batters. As we do have a carry, Guinevere, Baxia, and Marcel that will be thrown into the batting pool. Have yet to see the Paquito being thrown in as of yet.
Yeah, the Paquito still very
Your
strong
team
here,
is
Team Hong Kong
banning.
China, they do throw out that Akai ban, and this opens up quite a lot of premier picks into the pool, right? If you talk about the Harif that's available, Tucson available, Paquito, Phobius, all there still in that pool. And yeah, Phobius, we see it being one of the priority picks.
Your
here,
team
and Team
is
Sri Lanka
picking.
actually going for the Fredrin ban here. I mean, if this was a draft that makes sense, Team Hong Kong China, you go for the Paquito here.
Question. Oh,
Your
okay.
team is
I mean,
picking.
Harif is not bad. Harif is great, but if you were given the situation whereby you gotta choose between Paquito and Harif, I without I'm going for Paquito.
Yeah, and
Your team is
looks like
picking.
Paquito is totally ignored here.
Yep.
So maybe both teams, they don't feel confident in playing the Paquito.
Probably.
Probably. That might be a comfort thing because, I mean, we're talking about people that, yeah, you're just coming into that competitive scene. You might not have the biggest pool of heroes.
Exactly.
And learning what's to play in the meta is also pretty difficult, I would say.
Yeah, so we can expect and we should be expecting that their pools are going to be slightly restricted, but the main thing is they gotta have to make full use of what they have drafted for themselves. They have picked up an Alice, they do have a Harif for themselves, so at least the way that we are seeing right now is that Team Hong Kong China, they do want to play for a little bit more of the crowd.
Your team is picking.
More of like the AoE, you want to play for team fights, most definitely gonna be more team fight oriented.
Yeah, I'm surprised that they went for the Gourd instead of picking up the combo piece that is the Atlas, right? The Atlas together with the Harif would have been a great combo maker, definitely with the Zaman's Force and also the Fatal Links as well. Now this opens up for Team Sri Lanka to go with quite a lot of picks here, especially for that mid lane versus that Gourd. Generally, you can pick up the Tucson, you can still pick up the Eve, that's still available as well. And yeah, you don't have to worry about the ability to lock down the Gourd because you can pick that up later on.
Your team is banning.
Atlas. It will be taken away by the side of Team Sri Lanka. So far, Team Sri Lanka's lineup, they are looking at to be very tanky, and they do want to play for more on the durability route as what we see over here, which may actually be a little bit difficult for them to play due to the fact that there is a presence of Gourd over to the side of Hong Kong China.
Yeah, so definitely on that mid role to have that mid priority as well. Lilia's still in the pool if they want to go for that and if they want to try and get that Claude for themselves.
Your
right?
team is banning.
The Harif, I'm surprised they didn't go for that earlier. Now they banned out the Suyo. Now for Team Hong Kong China, what do they respond with, right? Generally, we see teams, they instantly look at the Claude as an answer.
Your team is banning.
But at the same time, Claude, you gotta pick heroes that make Claude work. And so far, Leo Mord and Atlas in the pool, yes, it can work in that team fight-centric lineup.
So, with that all said, for the side of Team Hong Kong China, they're looking for the frontliners, right? Or rather, the jungler and the roamer, which can be frontliners for the jungle, but it really depends on how they would eventually want to play it. Right now, it looks like they have a decent balance. Someone that has pretty good firepower in the mid stages.
Your
of the game
team
coming from
is
the
banning.
board. If they would want to have pretty good transition, then someone in the early game would be great coming in from the jungle role. Unfortunately, Suyo is already been taken away, so we've got a slightly small pool to work with.
Yeah, and right now for Team Hong Kong China, something that can take away a lot of that pressure would be...
Your team is
I was
picking.
gonna say, the Kajo would, I mean, lockdown heroes would have been good, but the Atlas was still there, so the Kadita ban, right? So Eve into Sin. Paquito still in the pool as well.
Oh yeah, completely forgot about Paquito, dude.
Yeah,
Not used to that. I am not used to the fact that Paquito is still leaked out until this very moment itself. But it does seem like we do have a couple of the players that took down their headsets and the graphics went out as well. It kind of seems like we are in the midst of a lobby pause. With probably a little bit of technical error or something along the lines. We will keep you guys updated as to what exactly is happening as of now. But don't worry, our voices will keep you entertained.
Yeah,
hopefully.
maybe this is the players thinking that, oh, this is a rehearsal and this is not the actual draft. Then then that would make a lot of sense,
That would
right?
make some sense
That
to
would
that.
make more sense because you leave Paquito out. I mean, after the performance that Mr. Vinuya Sanford had yesterday, you leave the Paquito out. Man, oh man, that's just blatant disrespect towards the hero itself.
Honestly, I don't know how this is gonna work, but you know, we'll get back to you guys if whether the Paquito is actually gonna be part of the problem or not, if whether we're gonna see a bit of a difference with the Paquito or not. But don't worry, this is still relatively early into the drafting phase, so if there were any form of rewinds, I won't be too terribly surprised to a certain extent. But well, regardless, we will jump in when we get the information. But for now, we do want to address the elephant in the room. We're not saying that you are the elephant, but you know, for every single one of the audiences out there, welcome. And in the event that you just tuned in, this is of course the 2026 Asian Games esports esports stage for Mobile Legends Bang Bang qualifiers. And every single one of the teams that you see right over here, they are playing for qualification to go to the 2026 Asian Games held in Nagoya, Japan in September.
Yeah, definitely. There's a lot of national pride, a lot of team pride here on the line as well. And yeah, I believe we're going back to the batting and drafting phase right now. Old school.
Your
coming out
team is
inside
picking.
Hong Kong, China.
Whoa.
The YSS into the Khalid. Okay, the Yisun Shin, right? It's a jungle Yisun Shin. It's not that gold lane Yisun Shin. So I can see the direction that they're going for. They have clear lockdown with the boat coming out from the YSS. But for Gord, is that going to be enough peel, right? So they're banking on winning their lanes. And now for Team Sri Lanka, they go with Zetian and the Moskov as well.
So at this point, this is literally a blast in the past, whereby at one point in time when Zetian was just released, there was this meta where as long as a team picks up a Zetian for themselves, the opponent automatically picks up a Yisun Shin, just kind of like an eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth, vision for a vision kind of gameplay.
Yeah, I mean, that YSS, I'm not seeing the value here, but of course, a scary scaling YSS is indeed in late game going to be extremely hard to deal with. They have a very good front line, but I'm just seeing that early game scaling problem, right, coming out from both sides here. Meanwhile, for the side of Team Hong Kong China, Team Sri Lanka, I would say Team Sri Lanka has an easier time executing, especially when you get that level 4 with a few
Till the enemy reaches the battlefield.
fatal links
Smash
as well.
them.
I mean, Learmore just wreaking
All
havoc.
troops deployed.
Honestly, let's also remember that the Zetian's ultimate is also a natural counter over to the Mystic Gush. So main thing. As long as you don't see the taking out the ultimate, you wouldn't want to miss it out. Which means that you're kind of playing the waiting game in this when the opponents eventually die. Your number one idea is that you want to destroy all these front lines as soon as possible, but you want to output the maximum amount of damage from that.
And here we go. The first game for the first time ever on the main stage. Team Hong Kong China versus Team Sri Lanka. Game 1 here. As now, both teams coming up with not too meta, but not too out of the ordinary. But look at being used by Shen. Trying to get a bit of damage on the HL wall, but
I kind of think a little bit more like an accidental press, to be fair with it. It's not really an escape tool, it's not really an engagement tool as well, it's more of like a, oh crap, I pressed wrong. But to be fair, it's not that bad. Currently only at 9 seconds left, and there is still time before, you know, anything is too important, because by the first turtle, it's very likely that it doesn't have to be a listen.
Imagine first minute, right? Flickering in. Oh, I don't have fatal links. Oh, okay. I'm not level 4 yet. So first minute of the game, my friend. And now Praveen just facing down the Harif. And Harif naturally just deals. It's a lane bully, right?
Yep.
That's why Harif was so strong in that gold lane for such a long time. And with Zayman's force, well, he can fight for the objectives extremely well as well.
Well, we gotta see how the rotation is gonna be. Just right now, quite a bit of emphasis down over to the XP lane, and unfortunately for Ramanayake, level 3, which actually enables the Alex to be a little bit more aggressive in roaming around the opponent's jungle, and this was not great, by the way.
Yeah, great combination as Praveen is still on the team. Turtle still not down at the moment, but at MY
Blue team has slain the turtle!
We have the house just coming in and able to try and zone away members of Team Sri Lanka against Turtle.
Not too shabby. Team China, they made a full rotation down to the bottom lane turtle, just like what as well. KY was close to getting a kill down on Hashan, but to be fair, not that big of a deal. The main thing is that they are able to get a collective amount of gold and experience to everyone through the means of that turtle.
Yeah, now 2,000 gold and Hong Kong, China, they did lose a lot of valuable time, right? And at the same time, creep priority was not in the way of Team Sri Lanka. Team Hong Kong, China actually pushed out all those waves before connecting into that turtle. So they lost a total of 3 creep waves, and that's 1 for each lane.
It's relatively early in the game. However, Team Sri Lanka doesn't seem like they will play in the early game as well. Take a look.
A lot of damage at this stage of the game. Level 7 over the Bindu's level 5 here. He pops the ultimate here, but that counter initiation would not end well for Team Sri Lanka.
I think it's really important for us to take a look at CJ Wang at level 8. Now, of course, CJ Wang, he does have a lot of experience to his name. This would definitely make some very good sense that he is pretty well above of the opponent jungler, Kavindu, which is only at level 6. So the quality of a retribution coming up for the upcoming tournament is extremely important. And the very fact that the lead on the jungle.
Hero has been slain.
Going down as Team Hong Kong China is coming with the collapse. CJ
as long as Team Hong Kong China is able to get a couple of wishes in themselves, this is a step towards greatness. Even though the Mystic Gush was not the one that's getting kills, but hey, doesn't matter. What we want to see in the early stages is some great farm from the side of CJ Wang, with 2 kills to him, consistently getting enough XP and being able to take down these turtles. Early game is secured. But from our position from the early to the mid game, where we need to see HL lost and KY Zheng, if he's able to accelerate his growth well enough,
Yeah, now forcing out 3 flickers from the side of Team Sri Lanka, right? They won't have it for this next objective fight. If Team Hong Kong China wants to collapse onto this, TJ Wong is going to have a great time. Level 10 currently on the YSF. 5 minutes into the game. That is a lot of macro advantage. And also Praveen in a lot of
Red team hero has been slain the turtle.
out the turtle as well. They want to
Red team hero has been slain.
from 2 members. For
Red team turret has been destroyed. Hero has been slain.
eventually does go down, but
Honestly, that KYZ has been alive throughout the entire battle.
Red team hero has been slain.
Wong come in with that time and KK-chan.
Blue team hero has been slain.
They might have turned things around.
Blue team hero has been slain.
KK-chan a bit too deep in enemy lines.
Oh, it's so unfortunate that Hedgehog did not happen in their own respective zones. And for the side of Hong Kong China, they were on a pretty good spot until the fact that Praveen just joined back in. This is the moment where they kind of overstayed their welcome a little bit, and is really just the point in time where on Praveen. By the time they see the Moscow, it should have already been too late.
Yeah, that's
Red team hero has been slain. Red team hero has been slain.
and then back to get out, and Fatal Link, no value.
Exactly, been able to put Hashin down after multiple times, as a matter of fact. But maybe that's on the song, get out of this position, and
He does able with the flicker. Who's been showing some on this map. They gotta continue to be wary of his rotation in Sri Lanka. If they go across that river line, TJ Wong is gonna threat.
we're looking at the Team Hong Kong. In terms of execution lead, CJ Wong is at 11 as opposed to Kavindu at level 8. Kavindu is having a great start, not get any of these farms. I think
Blue team has slain the turtle.
And now we have the ultimate coming out from YSS, but definitely Hashan will be taking the chance to disengage, right? No
Blue
flickers
team turret has been
available
destroyed.
on Rasal and Praveen. They don't want to take these fights yet. Now 1,500 gold lead, still looking good for the side of Team Hong Kong China, but Team Sri Lanka, they have the better
so Harif already does have
Red team turret has been destroyed.
just a single holy crystal, and is more or less going to be online enough to be counted as a standard where he will be a menace in subsequent team fight. And we are only at 8 minutes in. I think it's relatively fair to say that he should be able to get his holy crystal by roughly if things were to continue this way.
Yeah, at this point, Team Hong Kong China from KY of this tier 1 turret.
It's really unfortunate because the way that Team KY Jung was
Red
playing
team
was
turret has been
too
destroyed.
bold. He's way too bold as a Harry, which would have suggested that just right around.
And there's not 1v4 for KY Jung. He's just doing so much on this Harif, and
Red team turret has been destroyed.
Back out the Harif, my friend.
Oh man, so now Team Sri Lanka, they are very far behind. 9 minutes and 40 seconds. And a lot closer than we expected. Might have already been of those wars. And by the end of the Lord, hopefully by getting themselves the Lord advantage, that is where Team Hong Kong China will have such a power fight that Team Sri Lanka will not be able to do anything at upcoming company loss.
Right now, we go ahead and
Blue team has slain the Lord.
a very good on more than one, especially on CJ Wong. That does not have the purifier. They cannot look at KY Sung now as a problem. CJ Wong has been the main issue of this momentum so far. And Praveen, I gotta say, on the Moskov, doing a great job of keeping up with the goal disparity despite being behind in that lane.
So at this point, we've got waves up to the top much, but now we've got a lot that will be marking in down to the bottom lane. The only one that does not have a T2 turret. Team Hong Kong China will want to focus a bit more on the top lane and the middle lane because the main thing is this upcoming launch. Their number one objective is to be able to bring down all of these outer turrets. To be able to get the inner turrets, well, that will be great, but it is all just bonus.
Right now, both teams still possible.
Red team turret has been destroyed.
Not having the greatest of games so far.
All four members, they're moving in tandem, wanting to look for the best way possible to defend their homes. But they still do have got the holy defense, so they don't
Red team turret has been destroyed.
That was down in the bottom lane, down from the top and the bottom at the same time.
Popping out all the holy defenses, Team Hong Kong China now. They don't want to dive too far in, right? Making that mistake crucial to this point might mean a turning point for Team Sri Lanka. They're not that far behind, and this base defense becomes key here. And this is where this one actually shines, right? Because you do have that range, you have that range as well. So, but they're very reliant in staying in that middle of that zone.
So for them, what? Oh, sorry, not Hong Kong, China. For Team Sri Lanka, look out for a win condition for them, right? At this point in time, early game, mid game, completely out of the picture. It's not about you won't be able to get much instant gratification.
Red team base turret has been destroyed. Red team hero has been
Praveen alive, and Team Hong Kong China, they have to watch out for this. This will not be enough, and they will disengage.
Yep, it is a 2v4 though, and unfortunately, no more mega creeps that will be marked. And realizing that Hashan, Nisal, and Ramanayake will come back out very soon. So, the usual objective, right about now.
And we were talking about the win conditions inside of Sri Lanka, right? Yeah. They have to catch the goal before that instant gush is popped. And he does not have Purify. So Fatal Links on him might be fatal. CJ Wong with the retribution, of course, as jungler.
Blue team has slain the Lord.
They are not tanky by any means. And Team Hong Kong, Team Hong Kong China, they just don't want to be in that front line.
Honestly, I think the other thing that Team Sri Lanka can look out for is that maybe the Mystic Gush is not that big of a deal because they have the Fury of the Phoenix. So in order for them to get that pickoff that they wanted, the Fatal Links, you can expect, you know, it's not going to be easy to fight 5v5. If you go for 5v1, honestly, it's gonna be a very good chance that you will win. But the question is, right after a single man Fatal Links, who is able to melt that person down? Which is understandably the problem about this competition from the very start. Whenever you go for the Fatal Links, no one that base that is created by Hassan and the timing that's created by him as well. And now this is the danger here, but there is no creep wave to speak of in that bottom lane. Team Hong Kong China still posturing in that bottom side, and they do manage to get out that mid lane tier turret with the Mystic Gush being popped through the Phoenix as well. Great timing from the side of Team Sri Lanka, but KY Sum still tearing through with that Damon's Force double kill right now. And now going for that top side, KY Sum eventually pulls down. Now with the Spear of Destruction in the back, Praveen can actually go on a tear through. This is a play coming out from the side of Team Sri Lanka. They fight back. Amazing defense coming in from Team Sri Lanka. They held on through and managed to get themselves a 3-man kill. At this stage of the game, getting 3-man kill is so big. Yes, they may have lost every single one of their turrets in their base, creating a barren wasteland. However, it is not over just yet.
Yeah, this was a great fight. Great use of the Fury of Phoenix. Landed on completely all 5 KY Zung without that range of the Zaman Sports. Praveen taking full advantage of it, jumping towards the back with the Spear of Destruction.
From this point on, Team Sri Lanka can start to contest for these rivers already. Even though they might be about 4,000 or 5,000 gold behind, but it doesn't particularly matter too much. They can try to go for these fights again. However, Kavindu is at level 15 already.
Yeah.
So in terms of retribution quality, they are neck and neck.
At this point, it's a toss-up, right? You
Yep.
want to be talking about the battle spells, the ability to use the flickers. They will have it for that next fight, especially if they don't want to contest this Lord, which I don't think they should, right? Team Sri Lanka, they still can't play outside their base. They can still easily get caught by CJ Wong unless they want to move as 5, but the creep pressure coming through, they can't focus on one lane alone.
The other thing that we need to look out for is battle spell economy. Every single one of the members from the side of Team Sri Lanka has used their flicker. They are about to get them back though, so might not be that big of a problem. Misal has it back, Hashin has it back, Ramanayake has it right now. So if they want to go for the fight, they might.
Yeah, ready Fury of the Phoenix being popped, Spirit of Destruction as well, trying to get that Lord for themselves, but not able to find that pathway. And for that creep pressure that's being mounted, Praveen actually getting that Radiant Armor instead of the Athena Shield versus the Harif here. I would say I don't really like this choice, but if you're going for that sustained team fight, and if you know that you're not dying to the burst, Praveen, you can actually get that.
So with the Lord now marching into the middle lane, once again, it is still going to be really difficult because of this this push coming in. Every single one of the turrets are already taken down, but luckily for Team Sri Lanka, they are ready to take on this fight. Because right now, I think economy is not that big of a deal. It is all about how you deal with the current resources that is given to you.
Ultimates being popped here, Zaman's Force as well. Now Fury of Phoenix not available as well. Fatal Links landing onto HL Law, and HL Law actually takes out Kavindu in the process because Fury of the Phoenix is not there. And KY Sun still tearing through everything. The base falling extremely low. Praveen goes down, and this is Team Sri Lanka losing their base as Team Hong Kong China takes the first game.
Very good play coming in from Team Hong Kong China. I thought that might have actually worked it out for Team Sri Lanka because Terizla was actually taking so much of the time out of that Harith. However, it does seem like the main 4v4 that we are looking out for did not work too well for Moskov. I was hoping that the Moskov will be able to do enough damage to the main body, but alas, it wasn't. It seems like there's a little bit too much control, too much pandemonium going on at the same time, to the point that Terizla's effort in, pulling the attention away from that Harif just didn't work out at all.
Yeah, I would say having that short range capability of the Moskov really came to bite them back in the back as at the end, right? They had the very good clear speed of the Zetian, but they weren't able to stagger the waves enough to push out and fight outside the base, right? Once the fight was taken inside the base, that's where Harif really shines. You put down the Zaman's Force, it's inside your base.
Yep.
There's nowhere you can go.
It's free real estate, right? The only thing that can realistically work out against him is going to be the penalty zone. But technically, he did land the penalty zone. It was just a single dash away, and that's a goodbye.
Yeah, and we did see KY Zung, right? This MVP of the game, he was dealing so much work on the top lane. He drew so much attention to himself while CJ Wong was doing the macro work in the background as well. So they complement each other so well. And KY Zung, he was in the thick of it. He would fight 1v4, 1v3 at times, giving up his own life just to secure that ounce of farm.
Yep, so honestly, very good plays coming in from Team Hong Kong China. In some sense, pretty scrappy to a certain extent, but they understood their game plan pretty well. So I've got no problems with this game itself. But now they gotta go back to the drawing board and kind of understand, what is the thing that helps them get that kind of lead? How do they move on from here? And will they be able to get a more decisive victory against Team Sri Lanka? Because let's be honest here, the longer that this game drags, the better it is for Team Sri Lanka. And at one point in time, Sri Lanka would probably might have been able to get the win away.
I mean, at that the option, they instead of the Moscow, they had the Claude available as well. So I would feel that in terms of the draft, there was a lot of things that they could have looked at. Fury the Phoenix, yes, it does counter out the Mystic Gush, but the cooldown range between the Mystic Gush and the Fury the Phoenix is just too wide of a distance, right? To commit that Fury the Phoenix for the Mystic Gush, especially in the late game where the Mystic Gush is going to be available once again, they could have been looking at a Zhu Xin or also a Yve that could have secured them the team fight way more handedly. And going for that Zetian extremely late when you did have that opportunity available. And Lilia was there as well if they wanted to play for that late game.
I think aside from that, I think that Nisal might not be too confident or too comfortable playing as the Zetian over here, because as a Zetian 0:3:6 is actually not too great. Although we can't see exactly how much damage the Zetian has been dealing thus far, but Zetian as a pretty strong artillery mage who has a massive range in her in a built-in skill 1 kit, she should be able to be a massive pain in the rear for many of those players from the side of Hong Kong, China, due to the lack of proper front lines inside, aside from the Alice and the Khalid, for example.
Yeah.